During the pandemic, something remarkable happened. The world went home and work kept going. Companies that once swore remote work was impossible discovered that not only did it function, it thrived. Productivity soared, costs dropped, and a whole new ecosystem of well-being sprouted almost overnight. Yoga breaks between meetings, wellness apps, virtual coffees, and the quiet realization that maybe the office had been overrated all along. Then, almost as suddenly as it began, the tone shifted. As restrictions lifted, the same leaders who had praised flexibility started calling people back. They claimed collaboration was dying, culture was eroding, and innovation needed desks. The return to office mandate became a mantra. But here's the thing, the evidence doesn't support it. In fact, the data says the opposite. Today, we're cutting through the corporate myth-making and asking, why are so many companies so desperate to get everyone back in the office when it clearly isn't helping? And what's the real reason behind the push? But before we dive into it, please smash the like button and subscribe to Still Ambitions. Please help us continue helping others. Part 1. The Productivity Paradox. The first justification for return to office, or RTO, is always productivity. Executives claim teams perform better when they're physically together. They point to collaboration, mentorship, and those mythical water cooler moments. But when researchers looked at the numbers, they found no such magic. Across multiple studies, RTO mandates showed no measurable improvement in company performance. Not in profits, not in innovation, not even in day-to-day output. Instead, what they found was frustration. Employees forced back into offices reported lower satisfaction, less trust, and declining engagement. In contrast, companies offering flexibility saw productivity stay steady or even rise. When people work remotely or in hybrid setups, they report stronger focus, fewer distractions, and longer stretches of deep work. They also tend to put in more total hours across the week. That doesn't mean they're overworking. It means they're integrating work into life more naturally. Work-life balance, or WLB, isn't just a lifestyle perk. It's a measurable factor in performance. Studies consistently link high WLB to improved retention, better health, and higher productivity. People who can manage their time on their own terms perform better and stay longer. The data suggests that for many, autonomy is not a benefit. It's a prerequisite for doing good work. The old belief that if I can't see you, you're not working belongs to another era. In truth, most employees, whether remote or in office, spend roughly the same proportion of their day actively working. The only major difference is that office workers socialize more. Ironically, the productivity advantage that bosses expect to see from being together doesn't show up in the numbers. Instead, something else happens: performative productivity. People learn to look busy. They walk around more, speak louder, schedule meetings to signal engagement. The office becomes a stage for visibility rather than effectiveness. And that illusion of activity costs energy, creativity, and often the very productivity leaders claim to defend. Part 2. The cost of mandates. If RTO doesn't improve performance, what does it do? Quite a lot, as it turns out. The backlash against mandatory office policies is one of the most consistent findings across modern workplace research. When firms enforce strict RTO rules, employee satisfaction drops sharply. Engagement falls, trust erodes, and attrition climbs. High-performing professionals, the very people companies can least afford to lose, are the first to go. Many seek out competitors who still offer flexible arrangements. Surveys show a clear pattern. When employees are told to come back 5 days a week, fewer than half agree to do so willingly. A small fraction plan to quit immediately, and nearly half start looking for new roles that preserve flexibility. The resistance is particularly strong among women and parents of young children, for whom remote work has been a lifeline. When forced back, they leave in disproportionate numbers. This isn't just personal preference, it's economics. The flexibility revolution changed what workers value: time, autonomy, and location independence became part of compensation. Take those away, and you're cutting pay without saying so. No wonder morale drops. Companies that ignore this shift are paying the price in talent. The data shows that most firms enforcing RTO have seen higher turnover and harder recruiting. In a labor market still defined by skill shortages, that's a serious self-inflicted wound. Take a breath with me for a second. How has your own return to office experience felt? Calm or chaotic? Share your story in the comments below. And if this conversation gives you something to reflect on, support the Still Ambitions path. Like, subscribe, and keep walking the middle way with us. So if it's not about productivity, and it's not about retention, what is it about? Part 3, the hidden motives. Behind the RTO push lies a more complicated mix of motives: financial, cultural, and psychological. First, there's real estate. For decades, corporations have invested heavily in physical office space. Those marble lobbies, glass towers, and sprawling campuses represent billions in sunk costs. When remote work emptied those spaces, balance sheets began to creak. Entire business models built around occupancy, from commercial landlords to downtown restaurants, started to wobble. In some cities, office property values dropped by double digits. To executives and CFOs, getting people back in seats isn't about culture. It's about justifying investments and protecting asset values. Second, there's the problem of control. The traditional management mindset equates presence with accountability. Many leaders were trained to measure effort by visibility. Who's at their desk? Who's talking in meetings? Who seems engaged? Remote work disrupted that instinct. It forced managers to trust outcomes rather than appearances, and not everyone made that shift comfortably. The RTO mandate, in that sense, is partly a reassertion of control. It restores the visible hierarchy: the boss at the corner office, the team nearby. It feels safer, even if it's less efficient. Psychologically, it satisfies a need that has little to do with productivity and everything to do with familiarity. And third, there's a quieter reason: attrition by design. Some companies are using RTO as a stealth downsizing tool. Instead of layoffs, they enforce rigid attendance policies knowing that a certain percentage of employees will quit. It's a way to trim headcount without severance or bad press. A recent survey found that a notable share of executives admit to using RTO to encourage voluntary turnover. It's cynical but effective. Of course, this approach damages trust. Employees quickly recognize when a policy is punitive rather than purposeful. Once that trust is gone, it rarely returns. Part 4. The way forward. The data tells a consistent story. Mandated returns don't boost productivity, they don't build culture, and they don't save money once turnover costs are considered. What they do is reveal which organizations are adapting to the future and which are clinging to the past. Flexible work isn't a temporary accommodation, it's a structural evolution. The world proved it could work, and employees aren't willing to forget. The challenge now is not to go back, but to evolve, to build hybrid systems that balance autonomy with connection and performance with presence. That means redesigning management itself. Leaders need to measure output, not attendance. They need to invest in digital collaboration tools, not nostalgia. And they must learn that culture isn't defined by square footage. It's defined by trust. The return to office debate isn't really about desks. It's about identity. It is about whether companies see their people as resources to be managed or as partners in shared purpose. Those that choose the latter will attract the best talent and sustain it. Those that choose the former may fill offices but empty their future. So perhaps the better question isn't whether we return to the office. It's whether leadership can return to awareness. If this reflection sparks something in you, stay on the path with us. Like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Each comment adds another voice to the Still Ambitions journey. Let's keep each other improving, one conversation at a time.